Hey folks, this is Best in Slot, and in tonight's video we're going to preview two really cool aspects of the Jurassic World Dominion. The first is the Giganotosaurus. We've got our first look at it, if you don't count the leaks. Shh. And the second is a really cool icy setting and what that might mean for the film and the franchise going forward. Now, big credit to Jurassic Outpost, they kind of put this information together initially. I'm definitely riding on their coattails a little bit here, I'm not going to lie. But I do have my own spin on a few things, and I've added a few things along the way, which I will point out when we get there. That said, huge shout out to Jurassic Outpost. It is a fantastic website. Definitely go check them out, and definitely go check out, in particular, the download section. There is some awesome stuff in there. And I'm also going to link their original video down below, which is much better produced than mine is. Let's get started. So as promised, we're going to kick things off with the Giganotosaurus, and the Giga has been plastered all over this officially licensed product, which I believe is Polish, but I'm not 100% sure. It's definitely Slavic of some description. And as we know, Dominion got delayed by a year, so we're going to see a lot of this stuff kind of spill out, I think, over the next few months. The merchandising and marketing was definitely all planned for an earlier release. But either way, this is a really cool first look at the Giga. It doesn't have skin, which is a minor problem. But not only do we get a look at the sort of the shape it's going to have, we can see some other pretty cool stuff in the area as well. I just want to point out this backpack right here. I would be all over this as a kid. I would have worn that to the end of my days. But there are some little features on here that we're going to talk about in just a second. First, let's take a look at the Giga skull. And I'm just going to bring up some comparison images here on the left-hand side. This is the T-Rex at the bottom and the Giga at the top. Because the Giga on the right is clearly angled a little bit towards the camera, so it can look a little bit stunted, a little bit shorter, much like the T-Rex. There's a couple of reasons we can tell quite clearly, though, this is the Giga. First things first, the proximillary fenestra, which is sort of around here, so that little bit there, it's much more pronounced on the T-Rex, so we can barely see it here on the right. And also the mandibular fenestra down here at the bottom, you can see it's that sort of long oval shape on both of these skulls here, and it's barely present at all, if at all, on the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So this is definitely a Giga skull, so it's definitely our first proper look at the Giga. I do want to talk more about the Giga, but to do so we need to have a look at what the whole Giga is going to look like. Given the fact that it has been plastered all over this marketing, we can assume it's going to be quite an important dinosaur in Jurassic World Dominion. I think it will be, you know, possibly fighting the T-Rex. I think it may be our new Spinosaurus, our new Indominus Rex, essentially. It's going to be really interesting. Now, last week there were some leaks, and I did a video on them, and the video got a copyright got a copyright strike and taken down. It was kind of a big deal, actually. So I can't show you those images anymore. They're around on the internet if you search, but I can't show you them. But I've given an artist's rendition of what the Giga is likely to look like. Now you might be thinking, Best in Slot does your best work yet. And it is, because I traced the shape of the Giga before adding in the details. But this is basically taking together an actual Giga shape and all the little details we know about the Giga to give you a rough idea. I got bored with the hands, as you can tell. A rough idea of what this creature might actually look like. Now, for some reason on the toy, it did have like a big nasal horn, and the spikes along the back were definitely more prominent than people were perhaps expecting. People have been a little bit angry about that, but people get angry about everything. This is again a good approximation of the colour scheme as well. It's like a muddy brown at the bottom and then a green at the top. And I suspect the reason for these horns and the spikes being so pronounced is more likely just to make it stand out from the T-Rex. Colour-wise, this is actually really interesting for a large theropod. It harkens back a little bit to like the Lost World T-Rexes, and it should stand out quite a lot against the grey-brown of Rexy. I'm really excited to see this in motion and in action. I just hope these features aren't so over the top. I don't mind a little bit. You know, it's Jurassic Park, we can play around with things a little bit. As long as they're a little chill so it doesn't look like a hybrid monster, I think that's pretty okay. There's a spider! I'll get you out of there, little buddy. Just hold on. Okay, so let's go back and take a slightly deeper look at this merchandise. We're going to focus on the side of the backpack. So there's a few different things we can point out. The first is this. I mean, that's really cool. I want that. It's plastered all over it. The Giga looks amazing. We also have just general genetic stuff. Genetics is clearly the big theme of this merchandise roll, and that makes a lot of sense. If we look back at the original Jurassic World, the park is open, everyone's happy. If we look at Fallen Kingdom, a lot of it was based around the volcanic eruption and then the Indoraptor. This, we know in Dominion that genetic power has been spread around the globe. Everyone's got hold of it. Biosyn is coming back. There's rumours about Dominion's story, which I'm not going to talk about here, but let's just say genetic power is definitely heavily involved. So it makes sense that that would be a central focus of the merchandising. And that leads to things like unstable sequences, or you can see we've got actually like a pterosaur wing up here, and they'll be making an appearance, I'm sure. And this is a little stegosaurus. It's just, there's a lot of genie stuff going on. But one of the slightly more interesting things I spotted is this right here. This is very clearly a hybridization process. Now, we know there's not going to be any hybrids in Jurassic World Dominion, so it's a little interesting that they decided to put this in, but it's just, I mean, it's interesting, because I know we're not getting a new hybrid in Dominion, and I don't think one will come back, but I would be surprised if the topic doesn't come up at all. At the end of the day, the Indominus and the Indo have been huge parts of the franchise and the revitalized Jurassic World, so, you know, this might turn out to be important, and if that is a Raptor, and if that is a Rex, then, you know, that's the Indominus Rex, so just keep it in mind, that's all I'm saying. Anyways, the next thing on the list is a promo image from a Kinder Egg, which is like a chocolate with a little toy inside. They were my childhood and they're the best. Anyways, so we've got this image of Blue, and she is clearly exploring like a Alaskan frozen tundra sort of wilderness. And that makes a lot of sense. Now, at the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Blue sort of ran off into the woods to do her own Blue kind of thing. And we know for a fact that Jurassic World Dominion is filming in a tundra environment. There's several other set photos. This is actually the first photo we ever got, as far as I remember. Doesn't it look nice in that background? Anyways. Anyways, the point is they're filming in a tundra environment, so we can assume that at some point, maybe Blue wanders off to that tundra environment and Owen wants to go save her or something like that. But this is where I had my own idea, and I have to bring up an image. This is from my E750 video. Frankly, I couldn't find this text again, but I found it in the past, and it exists. So, there is a part on the Jurassic World website talking about the history of InGen, and one of those parts is this right here. Useless red arrow. InGen expands its excavations to Siberia. The new InGen facility, Martel, based in Siberia, has now opened. A rotating research team of 9 scientists and an excavation crew of 45 persons will undergo 18 months of drilling at 42 glacial ice locations. The team hopes to find organic remains dating from 40,000 to 200,000 years ago. The state-of-the-art research base has been 2 years in the making and is believed to be situated over a group of woolly mammoths buried under the permafrost. This could potentially herald a new era of scientific discovery, helping us map out our natural history like never before. I'm excited to finally see Martel on completion, expressed an excited Dr. Henry Wu before he probably murdered someone, eager to add to InGen's ever-growing genomic library. Now, the interesting thing about this could mean nothing. I mean, already you've got like a little bit of a link here, but the interesting thing about this is not only do we know there are non-dinosaur creatures appearing in Jurassic World Dominion, the Lystrosaurus, obviously we've had the Mosasaurus and the Pteranodons and the Dimetrodon, etc. in the past, and there's rumours of others that, again, technically I can't talk about, but not only do we have the link between Siberia and this frozen environment, but in Camp Cretaceous Season 1, in I think literally the first or second episode, I think it's the second, they go to the lab and somebody carts across a literal piece of woolly mammoth. So they have actually set up, this base in Siberia exists in the canon. You know, Camp Cretaceous is canon. So this base exists, and it mentions woolly mammoths right here. Bloody, where has it gone? It mentions woolly mammoths right here, and very coincidentally, in Camp Cretaceous, they've dug up woolly mammoth. So, although we know Biosyn is going to be important in this film, I suspect what we're seeing here is the InGen, what's it called, Martel? The InGen Martel facility is going to be here in Siberia, and Blue ends up there. Maybe they capture Blue again, maybe, I don't know, Owen and Blue team up for one last hurrah. We also know they're filming in other much warmer locations. Maybe that's where Biosyn's going to feature more heavily. I would like to see them take down InGen to kind of put a close to that chapter, whilst also opening the door to woolly mammoth regeneration, Dimetrodons, stuff like that, much more in the future. We know that Jurassic World as a trilogy is going to end, but they've already said that doesn't mean it's the end of the franchise. Why would it? The franchise makes billions of pounds. You know, they want that money. They're going to keep it going. So by expanding to non-dinosaur prehistoric creatures, land-based ones, you know, not just Mosa, not just the Pteranodons, but actual land-based creatures, it opens up directions for the franchise in a way that hasn't been possible for the last 6 films. It's all very exciting. And, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that was just my own little take on the whole situation. Whether it's right or not, we'll have to wait and see. But either way, I will leave you with my pro artist rendition. Again, big shout out to Jurassic Outpost. They really did it. Their videos are so slick and nicely made. It makes me very jealous, I'm not gonna lie. It's really well done. Go check it out if you want like a more concise overview of all this. Go bookmark and favourite their website and their YouTube channel anyway, they deserve it. There's my pro artist rendition of the Giga to finish things on. Thank you very much for joining me. Frankly, I had no idea to record tonight, so thank God for this. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.